We live in a time where masculinity is shamed and men don't know what it means to be a man. As a pastor and counselor, I've spent the better part of my life equipping and training others. My goal with this show is to translate my hard-earned experience into tools and tactics to help you become stronger as a man. This is the BraveCo podcast. I'm your host, Jason Bellet. All right, BraveCo men, welcome back to the BraveCo podcast.
Welcome.
This week, we are back here with Cole Zick. As you guys know, if you are a loyal follower, you know that once a month I have Cole on and we talk about literally whatever we want to talk about.
Yep. Could be aliens.
It's going to be today.
Could be the fact that I was so excited to wear flip-flops and I'm like, oh, I guarantee Jay's going to have flip-flops. It's the podcast you can wear flip-flops.
Yeah, it is.
One of the many things I love about it.
Yeah, I mean, I wear flip-flops everywhere. Preaching, I wear flip-flops. But this morning, so this is a real story. Today I was pushing the Costco cart with my kids and I kicked the wheel on the cart. God, dude, it hurts so bad.
It does hurt bad.
Son of a brick.
Or if you get like the back of your flip-flop stepped on when you're walking.
Makes you angry.
Oh, it does.
These are the things that
why do you have to walk on my heel?
This is why people come to the BraveCo podcast.
Yep.
These are things that most men don't talk
etiquette.
about. It's true. Hey, we do have to talk some business today.
Let's talk business.
Bro, what do you think about the aliens?
I am so intrigued.
So there was a Senate hearing where basically it was unraveled that they have found aliens. Maybe you know, like the official. Like I'm not great at remember all this stuff, but basically I watched.
I've read
it
like
yesterday.
14 articles.
Oh, you have? Okay, yeah.
It's so intriguing.
Lay it out then.
First of all, I love alien movies. Like I just love the thought that could be real. So there's that. So you also have to filter what I think through that perspective that I kind of hope it's a real thing.
I know, right?
But so it's a guy that was with the Air Force who got firsthand, like 1 degree away information from people that said, oh yeah, we have aircraft and the bodies of the beings that were flying the aircraft in our possession. And this has been going on for decades. And the military has not even told the Senate about this. So it's like the issue, you know, they want to regulate everything. And like, you know, so they're saying if this is true, then it needs regulated and controlled and the Senate needs to know and blah, 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 blah. Like that's the quick gist of what I've gathered.
All that just to cover up the Hunter Biden stuff.
Probably.
I just kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
like that's as far as I'm going to go into politics. I feel like it just like dip my toe
Shay,
into
do you
it.
believe in aliens? Is it possible that God didn't make just one planet with mildly intelligent life?
I feel like it's arrogant. It would be arrogant of me to be like, no, God didn't make any other beings. Right?
Totally.
Like, who am I to say that?
Like, it doesn't mess with my gospel at all if it turns out to be true.
Bro, I don't even know if it does or doesn't. Like I'm not a theologian. So there's keyboard warriors right now who are just like, they're like gearing up, right? Gearing up to just type us
Okay,
all
here's a
kinds
question.
of
Here's a
stuff.
thought that I've thought it before. What if he created another Earth scenario with another Adam and Eve and they didn't eat the apple?
That's pretty good.
Like, what if he just created a similar concept, like the same thing, and they didn't?
Here's what I want to know. Is there another Cole Zick running around that's like a better version?
Hopefully.
Like, did he create all the same people? Now think about it like this. What if there's all the same exact people on other planets and God's just like measuring me according to how that one does in this one. Do you know what I'm saying?
You know what you're getting into now is Spider-Man in the multiverse. Yeah, you know, my kids are younger than yours, so like that's where we live right now is the multiverse. Yeah, there's lots of great theories going on.
Okay, back to more important things.
What could be more important than aliens?
Are there aliens? I just was thinking yesterday, I was watching all that stuff, and I was like, man. If an alien showed up,
like what would you do?
Here's something to think about for reals.
Okay. Can't believe we're even talking about this.
No, dude, it's cool because there's no person on this planet that can actually answer this question.
Okay.
Except for maybe some guy in Area 51 who's holding some rat bat like creature that we've never seen before.
Okay,
Like,
what's the question?
that guy I want to talk to.
Yeah, that's the guy that's what he claims he's talked to, is that guy.
But I don't want the 1 degree removed.
I want the guy that saw it.
Where's the guy?
They're all dead.
They probably
All
are.
those guys are dead. If you're the one that saw it, you are not alive anymore.
But then you're like, well, okay, so the other side to me is like, what's the chances? It's like the Bigfoot thing.
I know. It's
So when you go down this road, I have a friend. I shouldn't even call him a friend. I know a guy who I'm close to.
He knows a guy too.
No, this is the source. This isn't the 1 degree move. I know a guy who wholeheartedly believes in Bigfoot. I just can't take him seriously.
I know.
His whole life feels like a joke to me.
I agree. That's why I'll never preach aliens from the stage, Jay, because I know that's what it'll do. But there's a part of me that is like, I hope there's other peaceful life forms out there because it'd be really cool. And humans seem to be getting less and less intelligent. So it'd be kind of cool if there was a really intelligent form out there that we could, let's get undumb again.
Glean a little bit
Yeah,
from.
exactly.
So the thing that I know for a fact is there's definitely demons.
Yes.
And they manifest where you can see them.
Yep.
And that's not 2nd degree information.
Yeah, right.
I've had that experience.
Yeah, same.
With my own eyes.
Yep.
Not a vision where I'm imagining it in my mind.
Yep.
But in the flesh, like I'm seeing it in you.
Yeah.
So I've had an experience, 2 experiences. One, when I was in my nervous breakdown, unmedicated. So this isn't like a hallucination from whatever. I woke up and a demon sitting in front of me. Like I can see you right now.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying. I literally I tried to kick it. I have very powerful kicks.
I know that.
Unfortunately, and fortunately, it vanished before my eyes.
Yeah.
And I kicked through it and broke my toenail on my dresser. That's a real story at like 2 a.m. God, dude, I was so mad. I was scared and mad all at the same time.
Simultaneously.
You know when you get up to go pee and you stub your toe on the side of your bed, how
it's
disturbing that is?
Yep.
I had that experience with a demon. And then another time I had my son, I think Evan, was sleeping in bed with me when he was really young. And this was during my divorce when my wife was gone. And I wake up in bed and he woke up too. He was sitting straight up and there was a blue orb hovering in my room.
Wow.
Honest to God. Like I don't make up these kinds of stories. Maybe a fish was this big when it was really this big.
Yeah.
There's a blue orb in my room, like this big, and it's pulsating. And I'm awake looking at this thing. And my son's awake looking at this thing. And then boom, it's gone. I have no idea to this day if it was good or bad. It was just there and then gone.
I'm so curious.
Dude, you're curious.
The aliens visited you first. That's what I'm taking away from this story.
I didn't even know. I was just like, wow. So part of what's challenging for me in the alienish talk.
Oh, we're really going to go there. Let's do this.
Oh, we're already there, bro.
Yeah, you're right. We're too far. We're there. We're down the road.
No.
Welcome to the alien episode.
We have our cake and we are eating it right now.
Yep.
I don't know how much of this stuff is demonic activity.
Yeah, right.
And I don't say demonic activity like the Christians are like, the demons are doing it. I'm literally saying like, I've seen stuff in the flesh, in person.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make
naturally.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
In things moving and vanishing in front of my eyes that are like, it wasn't a glare off of something.
Yeah.
A fully dark room. I wake up, orb hovering above me. I'm fully awake. My son's awake next to me. And then you have to work yourself back to sleep after that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So, could there be other life forms? I feel like I need a Bible scholar to sit here and be like, well, it doesn't say that there couldn't be in the Bible.
Well, perhaps the Bible is just Earth's Bible. So it's not referencing
like you're a pastor.
The other.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe they have their own Bible on their planet.
You think?
Don't forget.
And they have their own gods?
There's lots of possibilities.
But no, that wouldn't work because our God is the highest God above all God. He created the heavens and the earth.
And he just made different rules for each one. Like when I say rules, I don't mean like
here's
rules.
The thing.
I mean
if I was God,
like a movie has a rule. Okay. One of my ultimate pet peeves is that if it's a sci-fi movie and then they break their own rules that they created in their world, then I'm like, you're losing me now. You can't break your own rules. But each movie can have whatever rules they set up. Like if you, like I like Lord of the Rings, I can do Matrix, I can do Marvel, but you have to follow the rules you made for your world.
Out of all the things we could have talked about today.
I know.
So I would love to hear the opinion of the crowd.
I would love to hear the opinion. Are there aliens or are there not aliens? That's what we need to have.
We need to have an Instagram post that says that.
That's great. We want to know what you think because whatever they say in the comment section is clearly fact.
Probably true.
If I learned anything from COVID, it's that comment sections are always accurate.
We're switching gears.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, this is why I love having you here. It's always a good time.
Let's switch gears.
But bro, if an alien shows up, okay, last thing.
We're not unswitched gears.
And this is what I've said.
You're almost into third, back to second.
Same thing about Sasquatch or whatever, Bigfoot.
Yeah.
If they show up in front of you, do you shoot them or not?
I wait to look for aggression. I'm not assuming they're.
I'm simply saying.
Here's the thing:
you have a chance. To settle it
if this guy is true, if what this guy's saying is true, that means that we've had alien contact for decades and they have yet to be hostile. Why would I assume they're hostile now?
I'm not even afraid of them.
Exactly. Or we might be friends. I can get along with most people. I think I could get along with aliens.
What about Bigfoot though? Do you shoot him? He's standing right in front of you.
Because we have no confirmed attacks from a Bigfoot to a human. So why should I assume he's aggressive?
That's true. Let him run.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to take his life.
Me neither.
Just because he looks different from me? Come on.
The ultimate hide and seek survivor.
Yep.
Bigfoot. Okay. We're moving on. We're going to talk about something real. Maybe that's the most real thing we've talked about though.
We don't even know yet.
Dude, you just made this big transition.
Yep.
And we're not talking about some transitions. We're talking about you transitioning into becoming a pastor, taking, like, this has been in your heart for so long. We've been talking about this for a long time. You guys were the directors of Moral Revolution.
Yep.
And you and Kate.
Now I'm a fellow board member with you.
Oh, no. You and Kate have been running that ministry for 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
It's been in your heart since you were a little boy to preach and to be a pastor, like a real pastor. Do you know, not like a fake pastor.
Correct.
Like a real pastor.
Like the real ones.
Yeah. With a real congregation.
Yeah.
And that just happened.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about it. Well, tell them a lot about it because I know all about it.
It's
because maybe we can recruit some people to your church right now.
We need. I'm trying to recruit Jay. First of all, step number one. It is a wild ride. Like, as you know, like you and Lauren were, there for the whole journey of it. We've always, I've missed pastoring as much as I love MR, and I still, like Caitlin and I still, genuinely love it. It's why we're both joining the board and we're still speaking and have speaking dates that we're doing and, the heart of MR. But I've always known like the season of ministry that was the most rewarding for me, we're only 20 years into ministry. And we've only been at 2 places now 3. So it's not like we have a whole bunch of stops, but youth pastoring for the 11 years or 13 years we did that, I loved because of the ability to walk through life with people.
Yeah.
Right? Like getting to see these kids come to the Lord and then teach them how to hear the voice of God and teach them how to read the word. And then, I've married, I don't even know how many of them I've got to officiate their weddings. And I just love it. Like I just did another one a month and a half ago in Texas from kids that were, now they're almost 30 and they were in the youth group, and so there's just been that, Kate and I both have that, like, we want to be in your life. We want you to be in our life.
You guys are so relational.
So relational. Like, I love sitting at a practice from one of my boys and sitting and talking with the other parents and just like, so I think.
So I should say this. Some people see Cole coming and I watch it from afar and they try to like pretend like they're busy. Do you know what I mean?
They know
they're going to have to talk to you.
Yeah.
That's how relational you are.
I am who I am. Caitlin, Kate and I will be on vacation and we'll be walking and she can tell I'm about to talk to these strangers and start a conversation and she'll grab my arm and say, do not engage. Do not engage.
You guys always have vacation.
Always.
What do you call it?
Vacation friends.
Vacation friends.
We've met people on day one and spent the entire week with them before. And this has happened multiple times.
You did that on your honeymoon, bro.
We did it on our honeymoon. We met this couple from England on so it wasn't on our honeymoon. It was on our first, we didn't really do a great honeymoon. We were po and broke. It was on our first real trip that we ever went on like this. And we met this couple and we loved them. And then we got done hanging out with them this day on this catamaran. And then it was like this awkward moment where you could tell all of us wanted to be like, hey, do you want to hang out tomorrow? But then we all thought might be weird. Like, do you do this? Is this kind of... And then I don't remember, probably me. I don't remember who, but we were just
I got a good guess.
Hey, do you guys want to do something tomorrow?
You guys would have played. Would have come over and play.
Exactly. And so we ended up hanging out with 3 days in a row with this couple.
So I'm making fun of you, but I pretty much do the same thing.
Yeah.
And my wife does the same thing. I'll be on a walk and she'll go, no, don't. Because I just want to engage them.
I know.
Each person's got something unique,
It's true. And, I think for me, I've always, with people, I can, forgive and not judge. Some people have to work at that.
I thought you were going to say live and let live. And I was going to be like, bro, that's cheesy.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to say that, but
live, love, laugh is less cheesy.
Yeah. What I mean though, is it's it takes an extreme amount for me to just write someone off or to not, you know what I mean? And so, even probably the last year and a half, I've felt this uneasiness in my spirit, hey, it's time to get back into pastoring because that genuine love for really, it doesn't matter who you are, what your lifestyle is. I need to be expressing that. Whereas with MR, it's you go and you speak.
Yeah.
It's itinerant, then you come home and you don't talk to those people ever again. And so it wasn't long-term relational enough for what we felt like we had in our heart.
Yeah.
And so we, as we started, we came back from this trip in Texas and just felt like, hey, we need to figure this out. And then we talked to a place and it didn't work out and we'd come back, oh, I guess we're here. This is where we're supposed to be. We're in. And then a couple months would go by and I'm like, no, I'm still unsettled, And so it just was this, for the video record, nobody has had to endure the pain of this more than Jason and Lauren Valentin, besides Caitlin and I.
How many conversations have we had?
I mean, who knows? Countless. Your dad too.
Yeah.
Here's when we knew it was for real with Chris, is when he said, hey, why don't we go out to lunch? And we went to View 202 with your dad.
Yeah.
We were like, we're going to lunch with Chris. It's a big deal. Because he's just so busy. He always would want to. He just has got so much. But so it was, I wouldn't want to go through the process of transition again. I hope to never have to do it again because that was like a roller coaster. But how it ended up settling, we're super thankful and really glad that we're where we're at. And we're really thankful God kept us in Redding, which is amazing.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that too. Otherwise, I'd have to find a once a month person here. And it takes a while to find someone,
It does. Yeah. Somebody willing to talk about nonsense. You can't always find them.
Aliens. So how's it what's the biggest challenge to, making this shift in your life? What's the hardest thing so far?
Probably right now today is the shift of, with MR, there's, Abram and Rebecca. and then changed, but it's not like I do much with Ken and Elizabeth. They, they do their thing. So, to go from two people who don't need a lot from us to now a church that has been hungry for leadership, desperate for vision. They're not needy people at all.
Yep.
Like, they're really beautiful people, but they do need, more than we've had to, like, we haven't had people that needed from us. And so learning how to fill those needs and figuring out what those needs are. And I would say tied for the first. So, moving from not being needed to being needed on a regular basis right now. And then the other thing I would say equal to that, which you can know this for me, is not going too fast right now. Because I would like to, I want to just.
You live in the future.
I live in the future. Like, I just want to flip everything on its head. And, the church that we've always, Kate and I have always felt called to take over a hurting church and rebuild it. And we've never felt the Lord said to plant. And like, this is back, for years we've felt this. And so with that comes the dynamic of, you have people there that have been there for 30 years and have tons of history, have poured out blood, sweat, and tears, and have things that they don't necessarily want to change. And then our view is like, well, lots of things have to change so that we can thrive. And, the church had a really significant season at one point, and it hasn't, the most recently it hasn't been at that, which, you know all that story. But, so I think us being, probably the best way I would say it is listening. Like, right now we're listening and learning the people and learning the church before we come in and like just change.
Dude, that's such a good leadership principle, because I know in business and just in life, it's easy to come into a new place and go, all these things have to change and we're going to do it right now.
Yep.
Instead of, and you can be like the businessman who jumps in there and does that. And everyone's like, hey, you may get the right results.
Yep.
But not win the people's hearts.
Exactly.
And you're a pastor.
Right. You can't, like, to me, getting the right results without doing it the right way is not okay. And I would say that that's one of the things that probably one of the primary things we take, with our time at MR and, our relationships with Bethel is, people don't know this, but, Bethel does relationship really, really well, I feel like. Mm-hmm. Like, when we come in and the relationships that we have with staff, like your dad is still texting us, hey, how's it going after each Sunday? Like, that kind of, like, stuff, he just doesn't have to even think about us.
Yeah.
But he is, because that's the way Bethel's culture is. It's not just, hey, do it. It's how we're doing it really matters. And I think that is something that we've learned along the way from seeing that done well. And that now we're like, okay, we can't just go in, bring our people in and replace everything and everybody. We need to do this really well and honor the people that are there.
How's it been with your kids?
Great. They're in love with it.
Really?
They are, because like, we bring them up to the office and then they just run wild. The church has 50 acres and they're playing hide and go seek in the sanctuary, and they're out there's this like prayer trail, like, and so they're just like, this is amazing. The other day I was driving home with Kate and I go, hey, so what do you think about all this? He goes, I always wanted to be like a pastor's kid where you were like the main pastor. This is so awesome. I go, is it everything you thought? He goes, oh yeah, this is so great. And the Joneses, Erica and Todd,
Bro, I've been trying to keep up with the Joneses forever.
Yeah.
The jokes are never going to end as long as you're sitting next
That's
to
true.
me. Yeah, so,
Eric and Todd, friends in the city, they've said, hey, we're fully in, and, their kids are friends with our kids. And so that's making it fun, as
that's cool.
They've got kids their age that they're friends with. We literally tripled the children's ministry last week from what it was 2 weeks ago.
That's awesome.
Like, we've had to adjust really quickly on children's, just from a couple families that have come. And so, the kids are just like, this is awesome. I've seen my older two boys, Caleb and Connor. So Sunday morning, during worship, I was just going around and, before I had to get up and speak and check in on stuff. And I walk into this classroom where the 1st through 5th is, and there's like 20 kids and one leader, because previously there were like 6 a week. And I go, hey, do you need help? She goes, yes, please. Wonderful girl named Chris, who's just been serving in the children's ministry for years, but just weren't, as our second week, we're 7 days in, she wasn't expecting that. And so I go and we have a girl that was our third year last year that was sitting with us in the front row. Her name's Andrea. And I go, hey, so thanks for coming. Do you want to be a children's worker for the next 45 minutes? Because I need someone over here. And Caleb and Connor are both sitting there. They're like, can we help? And I look at them, I go, are you guys going to help? They go, yeah, we want to help. So Andrea, Caleb, and Connor go over the 1st through 5th. And Chris, the children's worker, comes up to me afterwards. She goes, your boys were unbelievable.
Wow.
She goes, they helped save the day. Like, they were incredible. Like, they led well. They helped us keep focus. And so it's just kind of cool to see the boys. Like, they can't really be a part of our orgasm sex talks with MR.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that we talk about.
I was wondering where you were going when you said orgasm.
Well, I'm just the stuff we talk about,
The
orgasms
ministry.
and sex.
Yeah.
And like with MR, we're very open, real, vulnerable. We've done it here on the BraveCo
Yep.
podcast. It's like, so my 13, 11, 9-year-old aren't going to be a part of that the way
No.
they could get to be a part of this.
So I love it because when I grew up in a really small church where everybody pitched in and did what they had to do. There wasn't enough money to pay everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel this incredible sense of significance because you're needed.
Yep.
And that's one of the downsides of a mega church
Totally.
is that we can fund everything. And not that we just have a bunch of money, but we have enough money that you can hire out professionally and do all that stuff. But as a kid growing up in being needed, and I remember they used to take like 2 kid volunteers to help out in the children's church every week.
Yep.
And so, I'd always want to be picked. Like
Yeah.
I'd always want to be the one that was helping out in
Totally.
the children's church and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But man, I just think it's going to give your kids such a sense of purpose and
Yep.
significance. And
I agree.
then even your congregation being needed is a big thing because it's easy for a congregation to get this sense of entitlement.
It is.
Your church won't have that.
Yeah. Well, and
we can guarantee that
Yeah, that's right. For sure.
for a while.
It's so interesting when you do think about church dynamics because it's like a cycle with a large church. Like this is the first time we've ever been in a church under 4,000 in our entire life.
Wow.
Kate and I was raised in a 6,000 person church. She was saved in one, and then we were at Capitol, which was huge, and then at Bethel. And one of the things that's been interesting to me is everybody at Risen King is so thrilled to serve and wouldn't even dream of wanting a paycheck for it.
Yeah, that's right.
Like the landscaping crew are the senior adults that come every Thursday morning and do all of the landscaping.
It's real.
And like, it's their honor. It's their ministry.
That's where the purpose is.
It is. And one of the things I find with the bigger church, yes, they can afford it, but you know what? It's also then becomes expected.
That's the entitlement.
There's the entitlement where people are like, oh, you're big enough to pay me. You should pay me. I'm sick of, I've heard people rant, oh, the church underpays and they don't pay and they do all of this. And it's an intriguing, when you really step back, what verse we don't talk about much is, hey, serve, keep your mouth shut and get your treasures in heaven.
Yeah.
Like we don't talk about that in the large Christian American church as it is because everybody's getting a paycheck. And I don't even have this thought fully developed, but it's something that these last couple of weeks has been, like I've never been in a place where I've seen such happy servants building the church because they want to be building it and they're loving it without expecting compensation.
It's the church I grew up in.
It's crazy. It's beautiful.
Awesome.
And it just is, my head's still formulating how to make sense of it and how to understand it. But there's something so pure and beautiful about like this guy. Oh my gosh, Jay, you got to meet him. His name's Bob Ray. he's got to be one of the greatest humans on the planet.
Wow.
Like he serves the senior adults. He serves the men's ministry. He's the lead usher. They haven't been passing offering baskets. He found out I wanted to and made sure we've been passing offering baskets the last 2 weeks.
So cool.
Hey, do you need to do this? And I tried to take him to lunch this week. He was like, there's no way you're paying for my lunch. And he's leading the team that's serving landscaping every single week. And just every time you see him, he is the happiest human on the planet. And you're just like, where did you come from? Who are you?
I'm going to find something. I hope I can find it quick enough that, when you like try to find something, but then there's a time limit on it because there's this awkward silence.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I found it.
Okay.
And I heard David Goggins originally say it.
Yep.
And I think it's so true. He said, out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't even, he's talking about warriors.
Okay.
Warriors on a battlefield. Okay. Out of every 100 warriors, 10 shouldn't even be there. 8 are just targets. 9 are the real fighters. And we're lucky enough, let's see. No, dang it. I got the wrong one. Oh.
I mean, that was sounding pretty sweet as it was.
Okay, no. Out of 100 warriors that go to war, 10 shouldn't be there. 80 are just targets. 9 do most of the fighting, and 1 is the warrior.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm going to read it again. Sorry, I screwed it up the first time. We should go edit the first one out, but we won't. Out of 100 men, 10 shouldn't be there. 80 are just targets. 9 do most of the fighting, and 1 is the warrior.
Yeah.
This is true in life.
Yes, it is.
It's true in church. It's the Pareto principle. So it's the 80-20 principle that Pareto said that 20% of the things in your life give you 80% of the return.
Yep.
Right? 20% of the people in the church pay 80% of the tithe.
Yeah.
20% of the people in the church do 80% of the work. And I do think that it's also true. It's like that guy, what's his name?
Bobby Ray.
Bobby Ray. They're the Bobby Rays of every environment.
Yeah.
Who step up. It's the guy that's leading the ushers. He's also doing the landscaping. He's showing up in all these different places because it's the guy that freaking takes ownership.
Yep. It's true. Here's the question to throw out to people. Like, and this is something that's running through my own mind for me. Cause I mean, Jay, I've been a paid vocational pastor since I was 21.
Yeah.
It's funny, the boys, when I talk to the boys, Caleb and Connor before church on Sunday, like, hey, we're going to need you guys to help and learn how to do sound and stuff like that. And Connor goes, well, what are you going to pay me? And I go, well, you're not going to get paid, bud. You're just going to serve and you'll get your treasures in heaven. And I go, and if you get your payment on earth, you don't get treasures in heaven. And he looks at me and goes, so you have no treasures in heaven then, Dad, because you always get paid.
You tell him that you put in a lot of overtime.
Connor, stop being so stinking smart, you little bugger. But all that to say, like this question that what's going through my mind as I'm watching the beauty of all these people. What do I do just for the purity of doing it?
Mm.
Like, is there anything in my life that I do it for the purity of doing it without getting something back for it? Like without getting something in return that I'm literally just doing it because that is, I'm committed to the purity of that thing being done, or that hole needs filled, or whatever it is. Because when the thing I think the Lord's been speaking to me is there isn't really very many things that I do that I don't have some type of return on.
Yes.
Like, I'm even motivated to clean my house for marital purposes. Right? Like,
yeah.
And then you realize, well, wait a sec. This is why David said, test my heart, because my heart is always needing to be tested, because I am regularly trying to exchange something for something I want more.
Yes.
As opposed to a Bobby Ray who is serving simply because God's church needs to be served. And it's a really challenging thought.
There's, I was looking up a Bible verse. A lot of people were judging me if they're watching this on film because they think
That's between them and the Lord.
They think that
Don't
I'm
worry about it.
texting while you're talking, but that's not what was happening. So Galatians 6 verse, well, we'll just start from verse 1. It says, if any man is overtaken in any trespass, you who are spiritual, restore such a one in a spirit of gentleness. Consider yourself, lest you be tempted. So that's the context. And it goes on to say, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. For if anyone thinks of himself to be something when he is not, he deceives himself. But let each one examine his own work, and then he will have a rejoicing in himself alone and not in another.
Yes.
For each one shall bear his own load.
Yep.
I'm just going to pull two things out of here, and there's like a whole ton in here that we could pull out of, because this is actually talking about somebody who's in sin.
Yeah.
And people, we often judge people that are in sin, and this is saying like, hey, restore them, right? If you see someone that's in sin, first be careful that you don't fall into that same sin.
Yep.
Don't look at them as if you're better than them.
Right.
Because you need to examine yourself.
Yes.
To even find out who you are and that you're not some poser running around, right?
Right.
Like that's basically what it's saying. But there's two things in here that are really important. Verse 2 says, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. And then verse 5 says, for each one shall bear his own load. When we're talking about life and we're talking about what makes life worth living, what brings purpose to life, it's this piece right here. If I don't bear my own load, if I don't carry my load, and if I don't carry the load of people around me, a burden, then life has no meaning.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And so basically, what does that look like? Well, the burden, when you look up this verse, if you pull the scripture apart, that burden means if it's something that if carried alone would be damaging to another person.
Yeah.
And I remember Jordan Peterson saying this. He said, well, now I better figure it out.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he said.
Said a lot of things.
Oh, he said, gosh dang. He's talking about pain giving you purpose, right?
Right.
Like doing the hard things. The exact quote will come to me. He's talking about doing hard things because in doing the hard things is where we actually find our purpose. And oh, he was talking about carrying your load. Yes. Jordan Peterson was talking about when you carry your burden, when you carry your load, that's where all your purpose is found.
Yep.
In life. And it just makes so much sense when I look at my childhood, when I look at your kids, what they're starting to step into, when I look at the people that are most successful in life, it's not the people that are entitled. It's not the people that are looking for the easy way out, the quick fix. It's always the people that are taking on responsibility, right? Because responsibility gives us purpose. It's in having something to do every day
that matters,
that I now feel needed and used. It's in taking ownership of my family actually needing me, right? I wake up every morning feeling purposeful. I've got people that need me, got people that are relying on me. And when you mix up a value system, then I want to get compensated, right? I want to get compensated so I feel valuable in the environment.
Yep.
And instead of taking ownership so that I actually have real value in the environment and feel purposeful in the environment. And what I love about what you guys are building right now is this piece right here is that your kids get to show up every single week. Your congregation gets to show up every single week. And inside of that, they know that if they don't put in their effort, it's not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
But if you come and you bring what you have, right, and you invite your church members into helping to build the congregation and be the body of Christ, all of a sudden we have a church that's valuable, that our people really have purpose and mission and vision. And we are doing the thing that Galatians is talking about. We are bearing one another's burdens. We're doing something that honestly, in a lot of churches isn't happening. Because if you can pay for it,
so much easier to pay for it.
It's so much easier to pay for it.
Yeah, it is. Money can be the easy way that doesn't require relationship. The people realize they're not, like, we've talked relational leadership, like leadership talks, but money kind of guarantees there's a positional aspect to it, right? Whereas the way I talk to Bobby Ray, with there's zero expectation, he's getting zero compensation, he's just showing up to serve. It checks my own heart. Am I honoring everybody the same way I would honor Bobby Ray, whether they get a paycheck or not?
Yeah.
Like, all of these little things, it's just what it's doing in me. It's pretty profound, because it's causing me to even question my own purity of why I do what I do in ministry, that I never thought of. Like, I'm pure. I'm not trying to get a stage or get a platform or XYZ. Like, I don't have all these things I want to do that feel outside of God's will or feel gross. But now I'm sitting here and I'm looking at a guy like him, or a woman like Sheila, there's just so many beautiful people. This Donna, who's been leading the children's ministry while working a full-time job for zero pay. And I'm like, would I do that? Like, would I have done that?
Mm-hmm.
It's
not the presence of finances that is the problem.
Right. Of course.
I'm just clarifying for people to save from them writing us a bunch of emails. It's the motive behind it.
Exactly. And you have, for me, for whatever reason, in the context I've been in, I've never seen it the way I've watched it with these people, that is causing me to say, okay, Cole, if you have to steward this really well, because you have hearts of people that are here. And when Bobby and his team are trimming the bushes, they are serving the house of God.
Yeah. As a pastor, you feel like you owe them.
Totally.
But you don't question who the loyal people are in your congregation either.
You don't.
No.
And I know why they're doing it. They know why they're doing it. And that's what to me is inspiring, is it is worship to the Lord for them.
You know, we haven't talked about the BraveCo conference that we did very much. And I think we just have like a few minutes left. Not sure how many, couple of minutes. And this ties into it a little bit, because when we were thinking about building the BraveCo conference this year, we did a couple things, and we did all the ministry outside of the room in its own. We put every guy in a group of 45, right? So we completely structured the conference different than we've ever done any conference. Yeah. And so we put a lot of work. It was a ton of work.
It was a ton of work, but
we put a leader and a co-leader over every 45 guys. So every man who came to the conference had a team color, had a leader, had a team, had co-leaders, and you sat together in the sanctuary. I'm just doing like a quick run through so guys get the picture. You sat together in the sanctuary in different spots every day and rotated. And then during ministry time, you didn't get ministered to from the front. You went to your separate rooms, and everyone, was a part of the ministry. And we did it as a team. And what that created was this sense of every man, one, being seen and known, but being together in the same boat, really connecting and really growing. And then on Thursday, what we did is we spoke in the morning, and then we had these massive team challenges and competitions out at Big League Dreams, which was so cool.
It was a lot of fun.
So much fun.
There were winners and losers.
Yeah, there has to be winners and losers. And so we did 3 hours of team competitions and challenges. And what was so incredible to me is I got to like walk from station to station and watch these guys.
Yeah.
And you don't know how men are going to react to this stuff.
Yep.
Because guys aren't, it's not a bunch of guys in their prime.
There's some guys in their prime.
It's not a bunch
Many
of guys
aren't.
in their prime.
Yes.
There's some guys that really have to win.
That was such a great way to say it.
Yeah. There's some guys that really have to win for the ego, right?
Yep.
And I'm one of those sometimes, for sure. And then
I've never been one of those.
Yeah. But what happened the first night is the first night before the games, when guys got into their groups, we had them really pinpoint the thing in their life that they're going after.
Yeah.
And we had them write it on a piece of tape and stick it on them. So guys had like suicide, affairs, divorce, like the things that are holding me back in life. So these guys had like bonded as men.
Right.
600 guys walking around with tape, including the speakers, that literally had written on themselves what they were going after. And then when they get out onto the ball field, what's crazy is they will do for those men what they don't do in their regular life, what they won't do for pay. I watched several guys who I know haven't ran in 15 years literally run from station to station to station in like 85-degree heat, dying of thirst.
We were lucky. It wasn't as hot as it could have been.
But dude, as I was watching that, I was thinking to myself, that's the power of camaraderie.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the power of bonding men together.
Yes.
That's the power of being a servant.
Yep.
Of knowing that people depend on you, right? Is if you give a man a vision and a mission and a way how, he'll walk through hell to get there.
Yeah, it's true.
But without a mission, without a vision, without a purpose,
you're right,
he'll lay on the couch forever.
Totally.
But you give that same guy that's been laying on the couch forever, you give him a mission, a vision, a company of men to belong to, he'll run to hell and back.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It was.
It really was. And it caught me off guard because I thought that that's what would happen. But watching it with my own eyes, these guys go to bat for one another, compete, lay it all on the line, and then show up again that night on time.
Yep.
After running for 3 hours.
I mean, we ran those guys into the ground. We cut around because we're like, they can't do another round.
They'll die if we do another round. But to me, again, like it's what we're all really looking for as men is we're all looking for a place to belong to.
Yep.
We're looking for a people that need us. We're looking for a place where if I show up, it makes a difference.
And if I don't show up, it makes a difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, that's what I love about your small church is when somebody shows up, it makes a difference.
Absolutely.
And if they don't come, everybody knows.
Yeah.
And it's what we created at the men's conference this year. You know, those guys, what we did the second night, and then we'll end soon. What we did the second night is my dad did a message on getting a new name.
Yep.
Right? So you had all these things that were holding you back that guys have written down on them. Then the second night, Dad preaches on getting a new name, Saul to Paul, Simon to Peter, Abram to Abraham. And so the guys went back into their groups and they tore off the old stuff, heard from God, got prophesied over, put on the new stuff with tape, right? Yep. And then it was so cool because worship would be going and we had tape all around rolls of tape all around the room. And you just hear guys like ripping off that tape because they had written down a prophetic word or gave a guy a new name, right? Like I had several guys come up to me and stick stuff on me that they saw and they wanted to encourage me. They wanted to impart something to me. And this idea that my contribution matters.
Yes.
Me seeing something inside of you and giving you, imparting my strength to you matters.
Yeah.
It's the difference between whatever, success and failure. Maybe the difference between depression and hope.
Yeah.
Is I can make a difference in the life of a man. And
it's great.
I love it, man. I love what you're doing with the church. I love what you're doing with your kids. I love that you took on a place that has debt, that is not it's not an easy win.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a real sacrifice. And the thing that I'm so excited about is that you get to do it in a community of strong people that are going to be there for you.
Yeah.
And to me,
Us
I'm
too.
like, I know you're going to succeed. I know that that church is going to grow and that it's going to be incredible because you and your wife are amazing, but you also have spent the last 6 or 7 years building a community here
Yeah.
that wants to see you win.
Yeah, it's true.
It's awesome, man.
It's true. It's exciting. I think we're going to win too. Depends on the day that you ask me. So thanks for believing today, Jay.
Yeah, well, I'm not
Some days you might have to have the faith for me.
I will. I'll carry that burden.
We're excited and we know we're in God's will and we have all the right people around us.
It's so cool. Well, BraveCo men, hopefully you guys enjoyed this conversation with
Don't forget to tell us if you believe in aliens or not.
Yeah, we want to know.
If you're still listening from the beginning, we want to know what you think.
It's true. Sometimes we just like to come and have a conversation. Don't go super deep or heavy, but hopefully this was great for you guys. Love you all. Have an incredible week. We will see you next week.
Wait, last thing.
Oh, wait. Are you looking for people who can
If there's aliens, I call being Will Smith on Independence Day. Okay, we can end now.
And if you're in Reading and you don't have a church, you can go to, where should they go?
Risen King, 6100 Oasis Boulevard, Gold Hills.
Yeah. You'll have a
10 a.m. Sunday mornings.
You'll have a place to belong.
That's right. And we can use more help with the landscapers. Bobby Ray needs some help.
Bobby Ray. Love you guys. See ya. Hey, BraveCo men. Hopefully you loved this week's episode. Listen, if you have not subscribed to our podcast, you are already behind. Go ahead and click right here to subscribe to our podcast. And if you have not watched last week's episode, you can click right here and watch last week's episode. And listen, if you want to upgrade your wardrobe, you can check out some of our new hats that we have in stock and all our other swag. Go to braveco.org and you can look at our store there. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.